Hi, good day everyone. With me again, Neutrality in Introductory Macroeconomics class. After learning about monetary system, now I would like to explain one of the main macroeconomic indicators that becomes the main concern of monetary policy. It's inflation. We'll be talking about the causes of inflation in the long run utilizing a classical theory called the quantity theory of money. Understanding the causes of inflation is important because, as I will explain to, there are causes of inflation that need to be avoided or minimized in the economy. First of all, inflation or the increase in the economy's overall price level can be viewed in two ways. First, when the price level rises, it means that people need more money to pay for the goods and services they buy. So we have P, or the price level, that is measured in terms of money. Second, a rise in the price level also means a lower value of money because the money now buys a smaller quantity of goods and services. So now we have the value of money measured in terms of goods and services, or mathematically expressed as 1 per P. One thing being clear is that the quantity of money demanded in the long run mainly depends on this price level P, or the value of money 1 per P. If we diagram demand for money with value of money on the vertical axis like this, the demand curve for money in the long run slopes downward like this. People want to hold more money to facilitate their transaction when the value of money is lower or when money buys less. We can also draw the price level P as another vertical axis on the right. But to make the demand curve unchanged, a low price level is shown near the top of this axis, and a high price level is shown near the bottom. Therefore, we have a consistent look of the demand curve for money. Demand for money is higher when price level is also higher. How about the supply? When we're talking about the monetary system, we know that money supply is determined by the monetary authority and the banking system. To avoid the complications and to make it easier to understand, we simply take the quantity of money supplied as a policy variable that the monetary authority controls. As a consequence, money supply is drawn as a vertical curve suggesting that the quantity of money supplied is simply fixed by the authority, regardless what the price level and the value of money are. And lastly, at the intersection point between supply of and demand for money here, quantity of money demanded balances the quantity of money supply. The equilibrium determines the value of money 1 per P and the price level P. So that is it, the quantity theory of money. The quantity of money available in an economy determines the value of money, and growth in the quantity of money is the primary cause of inflation. As economist Milton Friedman once put it, inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Diagrammatically, I can show you that when money supply increases, the supply curve shifts to the right. The monetary injection immediately creates an excess supply of money at current price level. People try to get rid of this excess supply of money by buying more goods and services or making loans that allow other people to buy goods and services. In either case, it raises the demand for goods and services. But since there is no change in the economy's ability to supply goods and services, the greater demand for goods and services causes the prices of goods and services to increase. The increase in the price level, in turn, increases the quantity of money demanded because people are using more dollars for every transaction. Here is the new equilibrium at which the quantity of money demanded again equals the quantity of money supplied at M1. Look, we can observe at the end that the overall price rises or inflation occurs following the rise in money supply. Another perspective to view the quantity of money is using this quantity equation. The quantity of money M times the velocity of money V equals the price of output P times the amount of output Y. The quantity theory is derived basically from the equation about the velocity of money variable here, or how many times per year money is used to pay for newly produced goods and services. Mathematically, it is expressed as P times Y per M. If the economy, for instance, only produces 100 cars in a year, sold for 200 million rupiahs per car, the payment for the goods and services is 20 billion rupiahs. And if the quantity of money available in the economy is 2 billion rupees, then each rupiah bill must change hands on average 10 times per year, or the velocity is 10. The quantity equation shows that an increase in the quantity of money in an economy must be reflected in one of the other three variables. The price level must rise, the quantity of output must rise, or the velocity of money must fall. But in many cases, the velocity of money V is relatively stable, while the economy's output of goods and services Y is determined by factors of supply such as labor, physical capital, human capital, and natural resources, as well as the available production technology. Therefore, when the monetary authority alters the money supply M, it only induces the price level P. If I modify the quantity equation in growth equation like this, we again observe that the growth of money supply results in the growth of price or inflation in the long run, which supports Friedman's statement earlier. Our discussion of the quantity theory of money has further emphasized the classical concepts, which are the so-called classical dichotomy and money neutrality in the long run. There is a theoretical separation or dichotomy of nominal variables and real variables in the long-run economic theory. Nominal variables are variables measured in monetary units such as quantity of money supply and money demand as well as prices, while real variables are variables measured in physical units without mentioning the existence of money, such as real GDP that depends on technology and factor supplies, real wage in labor market that equals marginal productivity of labor, and investment that refers to the physical unit of capital goods rather than the financial asset value. Relative prices are also real variables because when we compare one thing in terms of another, the rupiah or the dollar value cancel, and the resulting number is again measured in physical units. The separation of variables is useful because different forces influence real and nominal variables. As the quantity theory shows before, money supply, one of the nominal variables, affects only price level, which is another nominal variable. Money supply has no influence on such real variables as production, employment, real wages, or real interest rate, at least in the long run. The irrelevance of monetary changes to real variables here is what we call as monetary neutrality. One application of the principle of monetary neutrality is the Fisher effect. Look at this equation. According to Fisher, when the inflation rate rises due to the rise of money growth, the nominal interest rate rises by the same amount so that the real interest rate remains the same in the long run. Moreover, this equation also shows that the real interest rate corrects the nominal interest rates for the effect of inflation. But in the long run, real interest rate, the real variable, is not affected by nominal interest rate or the interest rate offered by banks, nor by the inflation rate, which are both nominal variables. Then, with the knowledge of monetary neutrality and the certain rapid fall of money value due to inflation, why do countries still print so much money? The answer is because these countries can pay for some of their spendings from printing money. The revenue raised from printing money is called seigniorage. And since it is for sure result in inflation and even the rise in inflation or hyperinflation, it is like a tax on people who hold money. That is why seigniorage is also said to be obtained through a so-called an inflation tax. Okay, after all the talks basically about the cost of inflation in the long run, we need to know the cost of inflation as well. I will only explain a few costs, however, and leave the rest to you to pause this video and read the definition yourself. Here are several costs of inflation and their definitions. The first cost here is stating that inflation causes a fall in purchasing power. It looks obvious at the first sight, yet further thought reveals a fallacy in this answer, especially when we consider the long-run context. Yes, inflation raises the cost of what people buy, but at the same time, inflation also raises nominal income, which sometimes is not realized by some people who think that the rise is due to their talent or productivity alone. So, remember money neutrality. Growth of money and inflation rate doesn't affect the growth of real income. Thus, people's real purchasing power may be the same amid the inflation. The other 6 costs on inflation here may be evident. Many of these costs are large during hyperinflation, but when the inflation rate is moderate, the size of this cost is less clear. Okay, that's all from me. I have explained how the quantity theory of money is developed by exercising the money market diagram and the quantity theory equation. In the long run, according to the theory, money growth is moving hand in hand with inflation. Money is also said to be neutral to the change in real variables. Then we have learned about the Fisher effect that applies in the long run, as well as the senior rate, inflation tax, and the cost of inflation. Thank you for your attention. See you again in other video with different basic macroeconomic topics.